Everybody, I wanted to talk to you for a quick moment today. As you can see, I'm in our garden, and we're still doing potted gardening this year. We are going to start working on an actual garden area on our property here soon. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about fertilizer, and as many of you have seen, if you own or have a garden, that prices of fertilizer have definitely gone up quite a bit. And there's something to be said with that, because even last year, gosh, what was it? Maybe June, July, around that time period, maybe even August, that it was really hard to even find fertilizer in the stores. And as you know, if you garden, that there's certain plants that require a certain kind of fertilization and everything else. And if you're trying to go about the organic way, fertilizer is even more expensive. But I wanted to talk to you today because fertilizer and fertilizing your garden, now you can do none of it, and that's fine. But at the same time, it is good to have additional nutrients in your garden. Um, a lot of times there's certain nutrients your plants need that your soil may not have, even if you buy really good soil and compost and everything like that. It may not have the nutrients necessarily that it needs. Now, I shouldn't have said compost with that. I was talking more just the regular dirt. With that being said, compost is important. Compost is a natural form of fertilizer, and you can get it a lot of different places. But the best thing to do is to have it on your property and available on your property. So for us, cows, sheep, even humans, we all create compost, but all that compost actually needs to be broken down over a period of time before it's actually able to be used in our gardening, especially like human manure. Like that's like a year, 2 year kind of breakdown thing before it's just turned into dirt. But there is one kind of fertilizer that you don't need to wait forever and a day to actually be able to use, and that's rabbit poop. Rabbit poop is poop that you can literally just put on your plants. You don't have to worry about it breaking down or turning into kind of some form of compost. You can literally go under your rabbit cages, scoop up the poop, and throw it in your plants. And we've done that with several of our plants here. Hold on, I'm trying to show you. These are cucumber back here. And then we got, hold on, let me try to find it. Sorry, guys. There we go. Squash. That one is filled with rabbit manure. And so it's one of those things that when you're on a homestead and you have a garden, you have to think about all these different things, especially now because not everything's available all the time. So you have to think of ways that you're going to fertilize your garden without having to have a lot of time, energy, and effort, or even money put into it. Rabbit feed is super inexpensive still. Even if you just have 1 or 2 rabbits, you're not going through a whole lot of food. They don't eat a whole lot. And as you can see, I have lots of grass behind me. I can literally just mow some of this grass and throw it in their pens, and they'll eat the grass too. They eat vegetables, cut-offs from if you're eating vegetables, they'll eat the leftover vegetables. If you have a garden, you can have extras that you can throw in there with your rabbits. You can feed your rabbits with fodder trees, and I've talked about that in several different videos about different fodder trees that grow very, very quickly. And we are actually going to be working on switching our rabbits over. Once our fodder trees, we get more of them and more growing, to literally be strictly on fodder and no more rabbit food. So it's one of those things that you have different options to feed your rabbits versus just having to go to the store and buy rabbit feed. So, I mean, dry leaves. I actually found this out in the fall and the wintertime that the dead leaves from the trees, our rabbits devoured them. We would throw tons and tons of dry leaves in there and they would just eat all the dead dry leaves. So if you have an area in your property that's got a bunch of oak trees or anything like that, and you want to clear it out and rake it up, you can clear it out, rake it up, and start feeding it to your rabbits in the fall and winter time, and they love it. So it's just a lot of those different things that you have to, get creative, but rabbits are rabbits, guys. They live out in nature all the time, and they eat grass, and they eat flowers, and they eat leaves, and stuff like that. So if you have grass, flowers, leaves, anything like that, you could literally just feed your rabbits off your land without having to do any additional work, but outside of, getting those things together and feeding them to your rabbits. But it's one of those things. Think about how you are going to be working in your garden. Think about the fertilizer you're going to be using in your garden. This year I'm planning on mostly just doing rabbit poop. All of my buckets that I've potted my plants to, because I started from seed, All the ones I've up potted, I've put in rabbit manure with it to see how it goes. Now, obviously, my soil quality is not perfect in these pots, and I know that, so I may have to play with that a little bit. But it's how I am going to do the vast majority of fertilization. Is going to, I got spearmint back there, and I got potatoes growing. So it's one of those things that uh, think about how you're going to fertilize your plants. Think about more natural ways. There are obviously just minerals you can buy and stuff like that instead of buying the fertilizer packs. But again, you have to do a lot of research on that end. But thankfully, rabbit manure is very cheap. You just got to feed your rabbits. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of that green stuff back there that we can just be feeding them. But rabbit manure is excellent, and you don't have to process it before or wait for it to process before you can put it in with your plants. It's just something that can go right in there. And even if obviously rabbits can be used for meat production as well. Even if you're not using them for meat production for either yourself, your dogs, or whomever, you can get just a couple, 2, 3 maybe. And depending on the size of your garden, you can, throughout the winter time be collecting their manure. And then in the springtime, when it comes time to plant your plants, you have a whole bunch of manure ready to go and compost ready to go for your plants to fertilize your plants. If y'all do have any questions about rabbits, keeping rabbits, or rabbit manure or anything like that, feel free to type them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And please remember to like, share, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you the next time. Bye.